Hello students, I hope you enjoyed the first chapter, Fundamental Unit of Life, Cell. Today we are going to start with the second chapter, Tissues. Okay? Look at this picture students. Can you recognize this? It's a amoeba, a unicellular organism with most simplest of organization, everything occurring in the same cell itself. And what about the human body? We have so many organ systems and so complicated organ systems inside our body, isn't it? So this is single cell making all the life processes inside itself. We are the most complicated ones. Okay. And look at this picture here. We have lot of organ systems as I told you. Now here this is the digestive system. It's made up of many organs. Okay. So each organ is made up of tissues of different kinds. And each tissue is made up of cells. This is called as a level of organization. So, body is made up of various organ systems. Each organ system is made up of various organs. Each organ is made up of various kinds of tissues. In the stomach itself, you have different kinds of tissues. Each tissue is made up of group of cells. Inside the cells, you have organelles, which you learned last year in the last video. Okay. And each organ is made up of many molecules, and of course molecules are made up of atoms. So you can see so complex is our and so wonderfully organized is our human body. Okay. If you look into this, you can see the wonderful nature of organization inside the human body. See, in the kidney there are special kinds of cells doing the functioning of filtration. If you see the liver is also having a group of cells which is doing the detoxification activity, conversion of glucose to glycogen, etc. And even the RBCs are destroyed here. Then if you look into the bone structure, see the group of cells of bone which is helping us giving mechanical support. And this is the lung, lungs. Of course, it is helping in the exchange of gases. So the group of cells doing that function. And the brain, the controlling system. It is also made up of group of cells which look very different, elongated. They are helping in the transmission of impulses, blood, heart, muscle, pancreas. So see, different types of cells grouped together. So it is called as a division of labor. Since we are organisms, very complex organisms and most advanced of organisms on the earth, we are having division of labor inside our body. The group of cells are coming together and performing a particular function. Just like in a company, the group of people or engineers together will do a particular work. Doctors, if they come together, they'll be doing the surgery. So such way, division of labor is there in our body. Okay, but which is not required in unicellular organisms. Okay, same thing is there in the case of plants also. If you see the different parts of the plant, the leaf, the stem, the root. The leaf is having different types of tissues. Of course, it's involved in photosynthesis. Then if you see the stem also, these have different kinds of tissues. Can you see the colors? Different colors are representing different group of cells. And here in the root also you have different types or different groups of cells. Okay. So, how do you define a tissue? A tissue is a group of cells similar in structure performing the same function. This is the structure of the leaf. You can see the border of the leaf has same kind of cells, and inside the leaf you have different types of cells. So the group of cells here just below the epidermis, they help in photosynthesis. Can you see this tissue? This is a vascular bundle which is helping in transportation mechanism. Okay, and then below the lower epidermis or the lowest part of the leaf contain small pores called stomata, isn't it? So what is a tissue? It's a group of cells having similar structure performing a similar function. That is the definition of a tissue. Okay. Why do you need tissues in our body? What is the utility of tissues? There is division of labor. That is the same type of tissues who know to do the same kind of work. They come and form a group and do that work efficiently. So that division of labor is there. That is, cells specializing in one function are grouped together to form a particular tissue. Third point to remember, and because they are coming together and doing that particular work, there is highest efficiency of that function. The lungs can do the efficient exchange of gases because of that specialized tissues present in them. The leaves can do the special function of photosynthesis because they have specialized in that, having chloroplasts, etc. You don't have chloroplasts in the lungs. and the leaves cannot do the function of the lungs. So that group of tissues specialize in that function. They help in performing the task effectively. Clear? So that is the answer if you are given the question, what is the utility of tissues? Okay. Next one. So we are coming to the main topic. We are going to first learn about the types of tissues present in the plant body. So plant tissues. Children, in our body we have different types of tissues, fine. And these cells, that the group of cells forming a tissue, that is the cells inside our body, they have a lifespan. After that lifespan they will die. So every day millions of cells are discarded from our body. The dead cells are discarded from our body. But you know, in the case of plants, they do not discard their dead cells. They keep it in their body for mechanical support. Do you know why? Because we have a skeletal system for mechanical support. So we need not store the dead cells in our body. Okay? But in case of plants, they store all the dead cells in the body for the mechanical support. So a young plant like this one, it is very tender, doesn't have much of dead cells in them. But as it grows into a tree, it becomes very tough and strong because the dead cells are there in its body itself. Okay, now another thing you have to remember, in a plant, the entire plant is not made up of two types of tissues. There are two types. The entire plant is made up of two types of tissues, that is the meristematic and the permanent tissues. We are going to learn about the meristematic and permanent tissues. That is, the entire plant doesn't have growing regions. In our body, if you get a wound in your hand, new cells will be formed there by cell division. But in a plant body, cell division doesn't occur in the entire part. It will occur only in the specific areas. So those areas or those tissues are called as the meristematic tissues. And the other plant or other part of the plants where the cells have lost the capacity to divide, it's called as permanent tissues. So let us go into detail. So as I told you, the plant tissues are made up of two kinds, meristematic and permanent tissues. Just look at the picture here, children. Children are studying in the classroom. Okay, here the people are doing various kinds of jobs. You children now studying are just like meristematic tissues. You keep on dividing. Dividing means you are learning. You are going on studying. You don't know what job you will be doing in future. After you grow up, you graduate, you take up a particular profession, you become either engineers, doctors, chefs, pilots, everything, isn't it? So the meristematic tissues can be compared to the children studying in the school, and the permanent tissues are compared to the permanent jobs done. So in the plant tissues also, the meristematic cells are continuously dividing, and when they mature, they differentiate to do different functions in the plant body. So that process is called as differentiation. Fine. So meristematic cells, which are found in specific areas of the plant, keep on dividing, and they are found only located in different locations. Whereas permanent tissues are found throughout the body because they have to do permanent jobs. Okay. Next. So if you just observe the meristematic tissue under the cell, you will find it in this way. Can you see this? The cells are very clear with very prominent nucleus. Can you see intercellular spaces? What are intercellular spaces? There are no spaces between the cells are called intercellular spaces. There are no intercellular spaces in between. Okay, so what are meristematic tissues, or what is the nature, or how do you identify them under the microscope? They are actively divided cell. Of course, you cannot see them like that. But what are the other features? The cell wall is very thin cell wall, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose. They do not have vacuoles. Why they don't have vacuoles? Children, what is the function of vacuoles? They are helping in the storing of waste materials inside the cell. Fine, we have learned in the last video. So these vacuoles will become bigger as the cell grows long, becomes mature. So the more older the cell is, the vacuoles will be larger. In young cells, you have very small vacuoles. Now see, the meristematic cells, the main function is only to divide. They are keeping on dividing. There is no time for it to grow old. So vacuoles are not formed, no waste materials. That is why meristematic cells lack vacuoles, but they have very prominent nuclei. So the main features, remember, they don't have vacuoles, they have very prominent nuclei, and the cell wall is very thin. As the cell matures, you know, the cell wall becomes thicker. There is no time for it to become thicker. By that time, it has divided into 2 cells. Okay, so that's a feature, or that is a property, or these are features of meristematic tissues. Next is permanent tissue. Permanent tissue, as I told you, is found in the entire parts of the plant. And if you see the permanent tissue under the microscope, you know, permanent tissues are doing permanent jobs. Will they have vacuoles? Yes, because they are becoming mature and they become old also. So you can see vacuoles are present here, and the nucleus is pushed towards the periphery. And if you observe the cell wall, it is comparatively thick. Can they divide? No. So they cannot divide. They have large vacuoles. The cell wall has become thicker, and the cell wall now, along with cellulose, they may get depositions of 2 other substances, lignin or suberin. Clear? And they are found in the entire parts of the body. They have a specific job to do, just like doctors, engineers, etc. Clear? So if you are asked the difference between both of them, remember these points. That is, they are made up of actively dividing cells. Permanent tissue cannot divide. They have specific jobs to do. Meristematic tissues are located at specific regions only. Here they are located in all the plant parts. The cells, if you see, they have dense cytoplasm, prominent nuclei, no vacuoles, and no intercellular spaces. And what about the permanent tissue? They have large vacuoles. Intercellular spaces may be present or absent. Okay? Cell wall is made up of cellulose. The cell wall may be made up of cellulose, lignin or suberin. Depositions will increase as they grow, mature and old. Okay? Now we are going to learn about meristematic tissues in detail. As I told you, meristematic tissues are not present in all the parts of the plant body. It's present at the definite locations. Can you see this picture, children? If this is a plant body, these green portions you see here, it's representing the meristematic tissues. They are present only in the specific areas. Can you see? All other areas where there is no color, it's all the permanent tissues. There are 3 types of meristematic tissues: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Fine? Okay. The first one is the apical meristem. See, can you see the growth of the plant going on here? In the plant body, the apex of the plant body is the tip of the stem and even the tip of the root. So here in both these places, growth occurs. So the meristematic tissues are present at the tip of the stem and tip of the root. Okay, so this meristematic tissue is called as apical meristem. Can you see the young leaves coming here? Because cells are dividing here. Okay, and here also the root goes on growing. So here apical meristem is present at the tip of the stem and root, and what is the result? It will increase in height. And here also it will increase in length. The root also increases. The length of the root also increases. So apical meristem, you can see how it is. The tip of the stem growing, tip of the root growing. It's present at the tip of the stem and the root. The tender plants, the tender leaves are present at the tip of the stem because of the apical meristem. Okay. Now the second type of meristem is called as the lateral meristem. Now where is the lateral meristem present? See children, if you just cut a piece, suppose this is a stem and I just cut a piece here. Okay. So this, it will look like this. And inside, can you observe this? Can you see this? These are the vascular bundles. That is, inside this you have tubes called xylem and phloem. Xylem is helping in transportation of water and phloem helps in transportation of food. You can see this. This is one tube. This is another tube. This red tube is representing xylem, which is carrying water upward, and the blue color is representing phloem, which is transporting food. So you can see this. They are found in bundles. A bundle of xylem phloem, another bundle of xylem phloem, another bundle of xylem phloem, another bundle of xylem phloem. It's present inside the stem. Clear? So now between these two, can you see a strip here, white strip between xylem and phloem? This white strip is called as the lateral meristem. Clear? So see the outer part of the stem, this one. Then inside there are so many tissues, but you also have vascular bundles inside the stem. So these vascular bundles are xylem and phloem, and this white strip between the xylem and phloem is called lateral meristem. What's their duty? Meristematic tissues divide. So when they divide, they go on adding cells to xylem and they go on adding cells to phloem. So the girth of the stem increases. Here this is a enlarged view. This is a cambium. This is also called as a cambium. Another name of lateral meristem is cambium. So this is a cambium, and here you can see the xylem and phloem on either sides. So it goes on adding cells to the xylem and phloem. So when cells are added on both the sides, the plant will become thicker. So when you see the growth of the plant, it not only increases in height, it also increases in girth. The increase in height is due to apical meristem, and the increase in girth is due to lateral meristem. Another name of that is cambium. Okay. Now the next part, or the last type of meristematic tissue, is called as intercalary meristem. Children, have you observed the nodes and internodes in the plant? You can see the nodes and internodes. Wherever there is the new leaves are coming, you can see that's a node. Okay. And the space between two nodes is called as a internode. You can see this diagram here. You have nodes, and the space between two nodes is internodes. And at the nodal region, you have buds also. So that's why from there new branches are coming. Now, what is the third type of meristem? Where is it present? It is present on either side of the node. Can you see this? This one, these are the nodes. These are the nodes. Okay. And between two nodes you have the internode. This red portions which are shown, this red portion is the intercalary meristem. You have actively dividing cells in the base of the internode. This is the internode, it's the base of the internode you have, and also it is base of the leaf also you have. So what is the location of intercalary meristem? It may be present at the base of the internode, or you can also say on either side of the node, and second location is at the base of the leaves. So when the cells divide, this will elongate. You can see the internode, the length of the internode is increasing. See how it has increased. So this is how the branches will get elongate. If this is a branch of a tree, the tip of the branch has apical meristem. But when you consider the nodes and internodes, they also elongate because of the intercalary meristem. So there's elongation of the branches. Elongation of the branches is due to intercalary meristem. Okay, so the location and function is very important. Just a summary. Apical meristem, see, it's present at the tip of the stem and the tip of the roots. What is the function? Increases the length of the stem and root. Second one, lateral meristem. What is the location? It's present between xylem and phloem. What's another name? Cambium. And it is increasing the girth of the stem and root. Intercalary meristem, it's present at the base of the leaves or internodes, and it helps in elongation. Clear? So these meristematic tissues are the growth regions of the plant. So now just let us revise what we learned. Okay? Name the two types of tissues in plants. What is it? Meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Name the three meristems present on the plant body. Which are the three types of meristems? Apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Name the meristem responsible for increasing the height of the plant. What's the answer, children? It's of course apical meristem. Name the meristem responsible for increase of girth of the plant. What's the answer, children? It is lateral meristem. Meristem present between xylem and phloem. It is same, lateral meristem. What's another name? Cambium. Name the meristem responsible for elongation of the branches. What is it? Intercalary meristem. Why are vacuoles absent in meristematic cells? What was it? Meristematic cells, they do not divide. They just continuously dividing, and there is no time for it to grow old. Vacuoles are not formed. Actually, vacuoles are formed only for storing waste. In meristematic cells, there is no waste to be stored. Before that, they divide. So there are no vacuoles in meristematic cells. This is an interesting question, can be asked in the exam. Two types of plant tissues are shown below here, A and B. One of them is actively dividing, another cannot divide. Name the tissue and justify your answer giving two reasons. If they have given you two pictures. So from the pictures you can identify. See here the cell is very thin, prominent nuclei, no vacuole. So this of course is a meristematic tissue. Here you can see that there is thickenings are there, vacuole is also there. Of course it is a permanent tissue. You recognized it. So now the justification for that, how will you write? Remember this difference you have learned. These points you have to write. The cells have dense cytoplasm, prominent nuclei, no vacuoles. Whereas in permanent tissue they have large vacuoles. There are intercellular spaces present or absent. Okay, and the cell wall is of course thick and made up of cellulose, lignin or suberin. Here the cell wall is made up of only cellulose. Clear? So remember to add this point in your answers. Why plants and animals are not made up of same kinds of tissues? We saw in plants and animals, in both the cases you have division of labor. Tissues are divided into different groups and they are doing their function. Why is it that they don't have so much variety of tissues as animals do? It's very easy answer, no? They cannot move, they are sedentary or stationary. So plants are having a sedentary lifestyle, they do not move. So they don't need so much of complex organs in them like we do. Second point, remember, the actively dividing cells are present only in specific location in plants. In our body, the cells will divide in every part of our body. In plants, the cell division takes place only in the specific regions. And most of the tissues, other tissues in the plant body are dead tissues and they're preserving it for their mechanical strength. So plants have less variety of tissues compared to animals. Mainly, the requirement, they do not have so much of life processes as we do. Okay. So the plant tissues are divided into two, that is meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. What are the types we learned today? Apical, lateral and intercalary meristem. These were the three types of meristematic tissues we learned today. In the next video, we will be learning what are the permanent tissues, what are the permanent jobs they do, why they do not divide and what jobs they are doing in the plant body. Okay? That's all for today. Thank you.